Hello and welcome to Matrix IT's Cybersecurity Fundamentals course. This module is on mobile devices. My name is Frank Fazio and I will be your instructor. Okay, well, over the past number of years, majority of us have been working remotely. And so we've had to now up our game when it's come to mobile devices, laptops, cell phone, tablets. With those devices comes in, the risks we have to be careful and we have to watch out for. So that's what this module is on. Um, again, we have a definition for a mobile device. I found since I've been doing the definitions on all the other modules, I throw this one in here like you didn't know what a mobile device is. A mobile device is a general term for any type of handheld computer. These devices are designed to be extremely portable and they can often fit in your hand. Some mobile devices like tablets and smartphones are powerful enough to do many of the same things you can do with a desktop or laptop computer. All right, so one of the things that we have to be careful like cell phones, right? We install apps on our cell phones to allow us to do things, whether it be the banking or social media, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn. They're apps. You install them on your phone, and if you're in Chrome on your laptops, you can also install apps in Chrome. So our cell phones, installing apps. When we install apps, we have to be very careful where we install them from. Only install apps from the Google or Apple store. Google Play, it's called, and the Apple Store. Reason being is because they take great care in going through the apps to make sure that there's no funny business going on in them with malware or whatnot. If you go to a third-party website and start downloading from them, um, you could run into issues with viruses, malware, ransomwares, that kind of thing. Now, the phones are getting better in not allowing you to download any apps unless it's from the Google or the Google Play or the Apple Store. But if you jailbreak your phone, you're allowed to take apps from other websites. So in any effect, only stick with the Google Play or the Apple Store when you're downloading apps. All right. Avoid apps from unknown developers. I mean, again, that's the same thing. Not that you would know developers on the Google Play or the Apple Store, but basically you want to avoid apps that come elsewhere, right? That are on websites per se. Read the reviews. All right. For instance, there's, let's say, a Bible app, and I'm going to show a Bible app in a second. There's a ton of them. Read the reviews. And when it comes to reviews on apps or anything, you're buying things on Amazon or whatever, I always read the ones that are the worst. I only read the bad ones. The good ones are, oh, everything worked. Yeah, I know that. Tell me why it didn't. So when you read the reviews, make sure you do go through the bad reviews because that'll give you a different perspective. All right. And people have had issues. These are the issues you could run into. But there's no need to look through all of the good comments because that's what you're expecting. Read the bad reviews and see why people are having problems. And sometimes you'll find that there's more bad reviews than good reviews. That's an issue too. And because there's so many apps out there, like the Bible app, and I keep saying Bible app because I'm going to show you one. There's a ton of them out there. If one's got bad reviews, just go to the next one. Then you have a lot to choose from. Okay, read the reviews. Check the app permissions, and we have to start doing this. There are so many things these apps do that we don't realize. When you download an app, the first thing you should be doing after you read the reviews is you should be looking at what it wants to do on your phone. App permissions. What does it need access to? Okay. And you'll find that some of these programs want a lot of stuff off of your phone. Or I shouldn't say want a lot of stuff. They can access a lot of the stuff on your phone. I'm going to give you an example. Okay. And this is why I keep bringing up the Bible app. I found this YouVersion Bible app plus audio. All right. I have an Android, so this is probably on the Apple Store too. But I found this in Google Play. If you go to this app and you look at the permissions, I'm going to show you the permissions. It shares the data from the following: personal info, email address, user IDs, political or religious beliefs, financial info, maybe because you can buy stuff through it, app activity that is beyond that app info and performance, device or other IDs on your phone. Okay, for a Bible app. Now, that's not all. Look at the other stuff it wants here. It collects it. Not only does it share it, it collects it. Look, contacts. Okay, photos and videos. So this app has a lot of access to the phone. This is what you agree to. When you download this, you agree to letting it do all of this. Now, if you really want that app, you can actually download it, and then if you go to settings and security settings and app security settings, you can actually turn some of this stuff off. But by default, it wants a lot of stuff here. Okay, a long time ago, I shouldn't say a long time ago. In the past, the flashlight apps had that issue. You download a flashlight app on your phone to use the flashlight, and it wanted access to your network, and it wanted access to your to all these other things that it didn't need, your camera and all this stuff. But this is, this is a recent one. This Bible app wants, a lot of stuff, and this, photos and videos and contacts from your phone. There's no need. There's no need. And it says may collect. I'm not saying it's it's going to go and it's going to send all this information, but it does have the ability to do that. And it will tell you these apps, and when you do go there and after you've read the reviews, you can actually look at the app permissions. So in this case, I wouldn't necessarily download this Bible app. I would go to another Bible app that doesn't need as much, as many permissions. All right. Always look at the app permissions when you're downloading an app, especially if you're using a corporate cell phone. All right. This is, I always show that this is something that I love to show people. Um, not only do we have to look at the permissions, but what we're agreeing to. Okay, so when we download an app, there's all these things in the background. Usually you have to click I agree. Okay. So this gentleman here, Dima, he did a display, a museum display or a museum piece. He actually won an award. He decided to print out the terms and conditions for a number of the major apps. All right. In purple here is Instagram. This is what you agree to. Now, all he did was print out on 8.5 by 11 sheets and tape them together. All right. This is what you agree to when you download Instagram, the purple. It's over 18,000 words long, and it takes, I think, an hour and 20 minutes, an hour and 30 minutes to get through it all, to read it all. Okay. If I was in front of you and I had a crowd of people and I said, how many people look up the terms and conditions? Put up your hand. You're probably not going to have too many people. Maybe one had to do it for a school project or whatever. But we do not look through this. So when I talk through all these modules about being careful about, hackers and cyber criminals getting our information and doing things with our information, we also have to be careful about the companies that supply us with the apps, right? I mean, you've got, I can't remember if this is like, you've got Google, you've got LinkedIn, you've got all the major social media, you got Facebook in here too, and I can't, the only one that I really was like, wow, man, and this shows you, like, it went up the whole, it went up the whole up to the ceiling here, okay, at the top. So we've got to be very, very careful when we download these apps. I have no idea what that says, what Instagram says. Um, yeah, I just love showing people this because then they start uninstalling Instagram on their phones. But be careful, okay? And this is the kind of stuff. Do you care? If you don't care, you don't care. And but that's a lot of legal speak. So one thing we're going to do for our mobile devices also is using a screen lock. All right. And by a screen lock, I mean when we're not using our phone, it kind of goes to that lock screen, as in, it asks for a password. When you leave your phone on, you can set the settings on. When you are not using your phone, for instance, lock it. Okay. Same thing with your laptop, your mobile devices. If somebody picks one of them up, you want to make it as difficult as possible for them to get into it. Okay. And by putting on a lock screen, or locking your phone with a lock screen, you make it more difficult for them to get in. All right. And one thing that you can also be aware of, the notifications that pop up on your phone. Now, there is a setting that you can turn on in security and settings. I think it's under your settings on your phone, security and privacy, I think. You can actually, when you get a notification and your screen lock is on, it will give you the text. Let's say it's text, right? You can actually have the phone just tell you have a text without displaying what the text says. So if you have your phone locked and sitting there and you start getting texts, it doesn't show you the texts on the lock screen. It'll just say you have a text. Okay. And that's to stop people from reading your texts when your phone's locked. Okay, and I always get a kick out of it because you know that you're at a restaurant, right? And you're with a bunch of guys, and they go to the bathroom and they leave their phone. And I always tell them, don't leave your phone. Please don't leave your phone with me when you're not here, because it's so easy to mess around with the phone. But if your buddy goes or your friend goes to the bathroom and the phone's there and they start getting texts, for instance, you can actually see them come up on their phone and read them. So you can actually shut the notifications off, or you can put them in private, and it'll just say you have one new notification or one new text. All right, that's one tip that I mean I've done. I lock mine out, so you can't see the text coming in. Passcodes, okay, facial recognition, fingerprint pattern, okay. Those are all things that you can put on your phone, to make sure that somebody just can't grab your phone and start looking through your phone, right? You got to make it difficult for them. They don't have access to your face. Actually, in the old days, it was funny. In the old days with facial recognition, now it's hard to do, and I don't even think you can do it. I used to play around with that, and I remember getting a Samsung, and I would take a picture of myself and put it up against the phone, and I could get into my own phone, but just a picture. It's been advanced a long ways now, and you can't do it as much. There was an option you could put on for facial recognition. It's called a blink function, where when you open up, instead of using a picture back then, which would work, and you turn on the blink function, it would tell you when to blink, and you can't blink with a picture. So it was kind of cool. But yes, I did open up a Samsung with a picture of my face a number of years ago. You can't do it now. They use too many data points on your face. Fingerprint pattern. You can all put this on one, or I think you can do many, but stick with one. Don't make it complicated. And of course, you go to settings, security, and screen lock, and on your phone to set this up. But use a screen lock, right? Put a 4-digit code in, just so somebody can't grab your phone and look through your stuff or forward off stuff to their phone. Okay. Now, having said that, okay, auto lock is when you are not using your phone. So when you pick up your phone and you're going somewhere, you can lock it, right? You can push a button and it'll lock automatically for you. But you can also set up auto lock, which will, after so many seconds, automatically lock your phone. You can do it on the computer too. And some companies actually have it installed on your laptop that within a few minutes of an activity, it locks it for you for security purposes. Because if you get up from your desk or you're at home and you get up to go to the bathroom, or you go to check the mail or whatever, and there's a certain time limit on your laptop, um, it will actually kick into the lock screen. Okay, and then you'd have to put the password when you get back. Okay, turn it on just in case you forget. Okay, use the passcode, and again, it's under settings, security, and screen lock. Okay, it's a good habit to get into. Now, having said all this, all right, auto lock, which locks your phone. We're going to talk about phones, okay? Auto lock that locks your phone. Fingerprint, you can put your fingerprint to open your phone. There's this story, and I it's the best story. Well, it's not the best story, but somebody got in trouble for it. So basically, a guy was traveling with his wife, and he fell asleep, and she took his phone. And while he slept, she slid his phone under his thumb and opened up his phone, okay, with the thumbprint. And sure enough, she went through his phone and caught him cheating on her. She made such a fuss over this. She went nuts. They actually had to emergency land the plane to get her off the plane with her husband. Yeah, it was that. So as much as we're going to do screen locks and all that stuff, be careful, okay? When you with your phone, if you're a very heavy sleeper and somebody grabs your phone and puts it under your thumb, it'll open. Okay, facial recognition is I think it's a little harder because you don't have your eyes open in the center. But just if you're doing stuff like this, don't just make it hard. Turn your phone off. Because if you turn your phone on, it'll ask for a code or a decryption code. Some of them do and all that stuff. But be careful, okay? Security is only as good as, you making sure that not only you have a passcode or a fingerprint, but you do other things like don't give people your phone. All right, I thought I had to throw that in there. Sorry. Okay, install a security app. What I mean by that is on our laptops, corporate laptops are going to have some sort of virus protection on it, malware protection. Your phones will allow that too. Okay, so you can download apps. You can download an app that's a security app. All the major antivirus, and anti-malware have apps for your phone. Now, I'm going to go through detect malware or real-time web, scan and audits your apps. Okay, so I always have trouble with the Apple and the Android. The Apple products, I'm not going to say that they're immune from viruses because I'm going to get myself in trouble if I say that because things change so quickly in this industry. But the Android ones, the Android phones are the ones that we have to worry about. The Apple is really tight with security, and they do have apps where it'll check your phone and all. But I always get this, what's better security, Apple or Android or the Google phone kind of thing. It's hard. Everybody's got their own opinion. So I don't wanna say one's better than the other or anything like that. If you put a security app on your phone, you can detect viruses, malware, real-time web protection, scan for malware on schedule, audit your apps. My one that I have on my Android, it will alert me saying, your Bible app has access to your contacts. Do you want this, right? It'll do stuff like that. And not on a regular basis, but if it notices something, it'll let you know. So you can actually download an app and have it running on your phone to just like you can a laptop. All right, and it'll give you that extra protection when you're, surfing on your phone or something like that. It'll alert you that you're going to places you shouldn't. Again, Apple. Not so much you have to do this, but you can if you want. There are some products for that. Um, Apples do get viruses every so often, but they're more rare. And I got to be careful what I say because things could change, and you're going to find that one article that says, "Oh, you don't know what you're talking about because you can't." Okay, get a security app for your phone and make sure that it's detecting something, give you that extra protection. Okay, install your OS updates. All right, it closes security holes. I've mentioned this in some of the other modules. Okay, when the OS update needs to be done, whether it's Apple or Android, it'll let you know you have software updates available. Make sure you do them. Okay. Again, like I said in the another module, it's a pain in the butt. I get it, but it closes security holes. It fixes the bugs, right? You might want to update your pics and videos first, or anything you have on there. Um, Sometimes these updates don't work exactly as planned, and you may have to back to the old version. But you got to make sure that you back some of this stuff up. You should be backing stuff up anyways. I cannot tell you how many times I've talked to people where they've either, you know, destroyed their phone somehow with, it dropping, or it's not waterproof and it falls in a pool or the lake or whatever, and they lose their pictures because they didn't have the cloud turned on or they didn't offload their pictures and videos, stuff like that. You should be doing backups anyways if the stuff is valuable to you. But if you do an OS update, which is like the software for the phone, iOS and the Android operating system, if you do that, you should back up your stuff. Okay. Now, another reason why we do these OS updates is because some of the newer apps won't work unless it's the newest software. Okay. Emojis too. That's a good one, right? People would send you emojis, but they wouldn't show up. And emojis are, if you don't know, they're little smiley faces and the little, goofy little icons. New emojis come with the new updates. And if somebody has the new update and sends you an emoji, you're just going to get a little square with an X through it, and you won't be able to see it until you update. And some hardware, and I ran into this issue with my daughter, with the iWatch. She had bought a new iWatch, or I bought one for her. I think it was for her birthday or graduation or something. I can't remember. Anyways, um, when she turned it on, it would not work with her current version of software on her phone. It said you have to upgrade. You have to upgrade your phone, and so we did. We did the update. We didn't have to buy a new phone, so we did the update on her phone. And as soon as she did the update, the iWatch started communicating with it. But the iWatch was like, you've got to update your software. So that's another reason why you need to update the software in your phone. Okay. And I'm not talking apps. I'm just talking about the software that runs your phone. So let's protect ourselves. Okay. So one of the things, just be careful who you give your phone to. And the reason why I say this, because it's been a number of times I talk to, I've talked to people. Once they find out what I do and for a living, they're always like, oh, my phone, this thing. I got approached once by a woman I knew, and she had been at a party. She had been drinking a little too much. She had met a guy who she was interested in, and they were talking, and oh, let's exchange numbers. And she just said, here, put your number in my phone. Well, she kind of lost track of time, but what this guy had done was, as he's quote unquote putting his number in her phone, which he wasn't, he was going through her pictures. And she had taken some pictures that were private, and he saw those pictures and he posted them on his Instagram page. Okay. And she had gotten her phone back. She didn't think anything of it. The next morning she woke up and she had all these messages from all these guys because they had seen her picture on Instagram. So please be careful who you give your phone to. I don't give anybody my phone. It's just the way I am anyways, but just be careful, okay? Because it you're showing somebody a picture and you give them the phone, it's very easy for them to swipe. And if they start swiping, they're looking at things they possibly you don't want them to, all right? Or information. Um, if you're using your phone on Wi-Fi, and it is some Wi-Fi that you're not familiar with, or it's a work Wi-Fi, whatever. If you're logging into something, let's say you go and you log into Amazon or eBay or something like that, log out. Okay, and I'm not talking about the app. I'm just talking about you're surfing on Safari, let's say, and you go to a website, Best Buy or whatever, and you log in, right? You put your username and password. When you're done, log out, because if somebody is connected to you and they're in your account, when you log out, they get bumped out. Okay, and I'm not saying people are hacking you all the time, but it's a good practice that if you're going to log into a website, log out of the website. Okay. Watch what Wi-Fi you connect to, and I've always said this: be careful, open Wi-Fi. There's a whole assortment of issues you can run into if you connect to a Wi-Fi that's open. Other people can sit on it and that was same Wi-Fi and start seeing things. Not everything. Security's gotten better, but there are instances where your phone is communicating and you can see some of that. So be careful. Make sure that if you're on a friend's Wi-Fi, you have the right Wi-Fi and you have the correct password for that Wi-Fi. If you are not using Bluetooth and Wi-Fi, turn it off. Okay, Bluetooth especially, Wi-Fi will connect to your phone will connect to a Wi-Fi if it's connected before. That's why when you come home, it automatically connects to your network. So it will, you can be out on the street, and if you're driving by some place that you've connected before, it'll connect to it. All right. Bluetooth there are problems with Bluetooth. If you know what you're doing, you can exploit it. But if you're not using Bluetooth, turn it off. You don't need it on. Okay. If you use it on constantly, then keep it on. But it's just one more thing that you don't need running on your phone. And turn off location services when you're not using it. A lot of apps will use location services to track what you're doing, where you're going, that kind of stuff. Again, it's a mobile device, right? You'd be surprised how many people have Find My Phone and things along those lines. When you do take a picture, it does put the location in it. I talked, I think, a little bit about that in another module. But location services, if you don't need it on, then turn it off. If you need it for maps, then leave it on. Okay, but it is something you can do. And watch for strange texts and emails. Just because you're on a cell phone does not mean you have to just not care about emails. You have to worry about clicking on links on your phone just like you have on your laptop. Okay, watch for those strange texts. Watch for those strange emails, because you're on your phone. It's the same thing about being on the laptop. Okay, and of course, if you lose your corporate device, you gotta tell somebody, right? You gotta tell your manager or the IT. They have ways of turning off the phone or erasing the phone. I know I've seen corporations wipe phones because the phone was lost, and they can do it remotely. So if you do lose your corporate device, don't I'm not going to say something. You do not want that to fall in the wrong hands. And then I do a module on data breaches, and you lose your phone. That's a data breach, or you lose a laptop. That's a data breach. Okay, because the information could be pulled out of it. So if you do lose a corporate device, make sure that you do notify your manager or your IT. All right. So that gives you mobile devices. There's a lot of things to think about. Just keep your stuff up to date. Watch where you're going on the internet. You know, put that security app in there. You know, stuff along those lines, and it'll help better protect you. All right. And that's the end of that module. Stay safe and stay frosty. And we'll see you in the next module.